if I traded it all.
Welcome back, everyone. My next guest has been on with me several times now. I have with me Sam Sorenson, and he is with the owner and a partner of Sorenson and Black. Welcome to the show. We're live on Facebook. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Please like us on Facebook and listen up. I love listening to Sam talk. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Well, yes, my name's Sam Sorenson. I'm an industrial broker in Phoenix. I've lived in Phoenix for, I don't want to say, but at least 52 years. And so I do industrial real estate, and those are those large, big gray buildings you see along the freeway. Anywhere you see a large building, that's what I do. I do warehousing and manufacturing facilities, and I've been doing it for quite a while, and it's really going well. And it's kind of a very unique, different segment of the commercial real estate market.
The last time I saw you was at my 10-year anniversary party, and I really appreciate you coming to that. I can't even believe it's 10 years that I'm doing this. You told me there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the market right now. So what is going on out there?
Well, our industrial market today, Carol, is kind of in a new place. It's kind of in a new era, so to speak. We have absorbed a lot of the vacant space. The vacancy rates are going down, and we're really absorbing a lot of space in the market. And the replacement properties, most of the properties that are being built today are large properties. We're talking 250, 500,000, a million square feet. And what's happened is the smaller properties, the 10,000s, the 20,000s, the 30,000s, they're not being replaced. So they've been purchased. Those inventories are shrinking, and the cost of construction has gone up so high that we can't replace them. Now, economics would dictate that once you reach a certain level of inventory, no matter what it is, real estate, cornflakes, frosted flakes, whatever it might be, then the market comes up and refuses you with new product. But since our construction costs are so high, that has been stifled. So we're kind of reaching a kind of interesting point in our market where we're just running out of certain buildings, of certain characteristics in our market, and it's kind of a different place. I've never really seen this place before.
So it's sort of strange to me, because these are smaller places that you're saying that are being taken away.
That's correct.
What are they putting there?
Small businesses, moms and pops. What we
nice
have now.
To know that they're allowing that in.
It's interesting because since the new year, we've seen a real influx. We've seen a tremendous confidence in the small business market. They kind of kept their powder dry for a long time. Really didn't know what was going to happen, and since the beginning of the year, we have tremendous confidence on their part, and they're coming to the market and they're scarfing up buildings, and they're buying. And they're taking buildings off the market, and there's just they're opening businesses, they're expanding their businesses, they're hiring employees, and so on and so forth. So we're seeing those small, as we might call mom and pop operations, taking up that inventory. And then we have another part of our market, which is a small, like a 30,000 or a 10,000 square foot building with 2 or 3 extra acres for all your trucks, for all your inventory, for all your raw materials, and so on. And those are gone. Now, we're talking about a city of, 6 million people, so to speak, huge land area, and they come to me now and they say, I need a 20,000 square foot building with 3 extra acres. I have nothing.
Wow, isn't that amazing? That means that business is good.
Business is good. We're expanding. We're having a lot of people come into our market. This has been probably one of my best years as far as being a broker is concerned. And what we're working with now, what I've worked with, for most of this year has been companies coming from out of state.
Okay.
Actually, companies coming from out of the country. So I work with companies from Japan, China, Denmark, Canada. And then I've worked with companies from out of state, North Carolina, Kentucky, Ohio, Nevada, and even, I've even worked with, companies trying to escape, small, deprived third world countries like California. So, sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm from California.
But anyway, so we're working with a lot of companies trying to, come to a state that's very pro-business. We have the groups helping us work, the Arizona Department of Commerce, the GPEC, those companies, those groups are working out in the market outside of Arizona, bringing companies in, and especially in California, those companies can be operating under a little duress depending on where they are in the state. and they can come to Arizona, and we have a tremendous pro-business attitude here. Our state works very hard to work with these companies. There are certain tax benefits to coming here, and so we're seeing that, reaping those benefits now.
What I love hearing when you're talking is that it's booming. It's good. Business is good. We talk to so many people when I talk to, let's say, financial advisors who love to come on here and talk a little bit about the market and all that kind of thing. And, there's a lot of also people out there that they're the small business owners and things like that they're struggling a little bit. They're still trying to, but it's good to hear.
It's, there is new, optimism in the market, and especially the interesting thing, Carol, that I'm seeing is we're seeing manufacturing come back. And, I don't think maybe, sometimes people don't think about this, but manufacturing is critical to any economy, economy in any country in the world. Manufacturing is the lifeblood of a growing dynamic economy, whether it's China, whether it's whatever it might be, even Malaysia, so to speak. Their manufacturing is growing. So we here in the United States, our manufacturing obviously has taken a hit over the years, but what I'm seeing is small manufacturing companies coming back into our market. And when a manufacturing company comes into our market, if you have a 30,000 square foot warehouse that just stores Frosted Flakes, you might have 10 employees. Maybe 12. If I have a 30,000 square foot warehouse that's doing manufacturing, I could have 45 employees, and they're all pretty well paid because they get much higher wages. So I'm seeing manufacturing come back. I'm seeing manufacturing companies have more confidence to come back into our market, come back and start working again and start expanding their business, hiring more employees, and that's where we've seen a lot of that inventory as far as our market is concerned, those small businesses, those small markets, those small buildings being taken up by manufacturing companies. I sold talking about dynamic to the property, I sold a 45,000 square foot building on 12 acres in 3 days.
I'm surprised because the last time we spoke, and we had said the bigger they are, the longer they take. This is completely opposite.
No. This had my head spinning because, especially in commercial real estate, when you have banks involved and you have, I think I spoke before, but when you're a broker, you have to orchestrate many different people in order to have a commercial transaction take place. So you have environmental inspectors and so on and so forth. You have building inspectors to come out. You have attorneys to negotiate the contract on both sides. You have to deal with the bank. You have to deal with appraisers and the other broker and the other party as well. So you're orchestrating a lot of people, and all those people have to say yes or nothing happens. So, this was a manufacturing company. They make crushers. What's a
crushers?
What's a crusher? Well, a crusher is these machines. You see them a lot on the highway. So as they're tearing up the highway and replacing it with a new road, it's a machine that crushes the asphalt, and then it has a conveyor belt, and it's dumped into a truck. And they manufacture crushers, and they're out of Las Vegas, Nevada. And they came
There's a market for everything.
There's a market for everything. So they came into town, and they had to find something. And I had a property out on the west side, and it just happened so quickly. It just bang. We made a deal Tuesday. We got everything to the title company.
Is that one of your fastest ever?
That's the fastest ever. That's the new record.
Wow.
I think I may have set a record on that one.
That's amazing.
It was very quick, so it was very interesting. But that gives you some idea of some of the interest in our market today.
Now, we are heard all over the world, and especially, of course, our nation here. You also have a lot of people that you work with that are obviously in other states. So, talk to them right now, because you can help them.
Well, Arizona is a very, as I said, it's a very pro-business state. And as I said, I don't mean to pick on California, but I will pick on California because a lot of the companies up there are companies out in California. They are just they're not treated well, for lack of better words. And so they can come here and be welcomed. I say a pro-business atmosphere, lots of tax benefits for us to bring people here and so on and so forth. So it's a different dynamic. Obviously, we have the weather, we have the climate. We're a growing state again. We're one of the fastest growing states in the country. Again.
Now I know why they're working on all the streets so that everybody can, come in here and build buildings, and it's all nice for them.
Yeah. So we're bringing people in from Ohio, from North Carolina, so it's from the Midwest Midwest, Nevada. Places like that. Not so much Texas. Texas is booming on their own, so we're not going to get much business from Texas. But those areas of the country and California. California is a rich area for us to find new businesses, growing businesses, dynamic businesses. I sold a 600,000 square foot warehouse in Yuma, Arizona. And that's, I don't know how many acres, but it's probably 14 acres of building. And it was down in Yuma. And we sold that to a group out of Australia. And what we did, we decided, we were looking at this building, and what we decided was we were going to market this warehouse for warehouse use in San Diego. It was cheaper for them. The way we bought this property, it was cheaper for companies to warehouse and do their operations in Arizona than it was in San Diego. But it was in Arizona, it was in Yuma, obviously. But the distance was not really that great. But it worked out quite well. Here we are. We're servicing Southern California with a warehouse in Arizona.
Awesome. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, I want to talk further about this. I love listening to you. It's good information. It's great to feel. I love it because it makes me feel good. It makes people out there feel good. It's booming.
It's booming.
And again, you can check them out. It is SorensonandBlack.com. Their number is 602-369-4059. We're going to go a break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk more. I love listening to Sam talk.
Thanks, Carol.
If I traded it all.
Welcome back. We are talking with Sam Sorenson of Sorenson and Black, and we were just hearing your ad, and I was saying how you have to add more miles to it.
It's been quite a year. I mean, it's been
awesome.
an amazing year this year. So
it's good to hear. Everybody that's listening, this is good information. It's fun to hear it because it makes us. It's a feel good thing. It's a feel good story.
Well, companies have enough confidence to come into Arizona and make a substantial financial commitment. So that's a real benefit for us. And so we're seeing, as I say, we're seeing companies come in here. Obviously, another large dynamic to our market is the Intel project. I mean, the Intel project and the Apple project in the East Valley has absolutely, in a short period of a few months, have absolutely changed that market. The East Valley is on fire, absolutely on fire, and all around that area, and even businesses, obviously satellite industries that might service
Who would ever know that the East Valley? That's awesome.
Because of two large, obviously, some of the largest companies in the world are making a statement and investment in the Arizona market. It is the synergy going out, and as I said, maybe not even companies directly involved with that industry, is just phenomenal. And we're seeing just tremendous. I don't work the East Valley. That's not where I focus. But
where do you focus?
West Valley. So I work West Valley, I-10, heading out to California. The 303 now obviously is a growing area. The 101, but surprise, Chandler. I'm working now with a tremendous property. I listed a property from a company from Spain, and they were manufacturing 93,000 square foot building on 26 acres, which is, there's nothing else like it in the state of Arizona.
And that's here?
It's here. And surprise, they built it for it was built for their solar business.
We have a ton of land here.
Yeah. Well, this building, as I say, this building has next to it as part of the property 13 acres, and it's on a railroad siding. It just has all these tremendous attributes, and it's really a one-of-a-kind property that we're working with right now with a company from Spain. This company is in the solar industry and other auxiliary industries, and they have 140 plants all around the world. And this one was in Surprise, and now they've kind of mothballed that, and they're working in some other directions. But it's just an amazing.
Well, it makes sense to have a solar company like that. I don't know what it does or whatever, but here in Arizona.
Yeah, no,
right?
I mean that's. But again, that's it'll be a tremendous manufacturing facility, and so as a matter of fact, I got a call today on a group that wants to look at a very, very large facility that has railroad access, and it's in our market today. We have very few buildings now that actually have railroad access, and railroad access was hand in glove with industrial real estate many years ago in the city of Phoenix. All these little buildings, these 20,000s, these 30,000s, they all were next to railroad tracks. And but anyway, so we're kind of seeing a reverse dynamic with that now. So I'm hoping that that will be a bellwether of new things to come.
That's neat. So when you get a building, we were talking a little bit. How do you market it?
Well, we market it in a lot of ways. I have groups that I work with. I have some networking groups that I work with in California, which I focus on tremendously for buyers. And then we have national databases, like you have the MLS for houses, and everybody kind of has that idea. And we have several databases that we put our properties on, and
Sam is the guy to call. Let me just say, Sam, there's people like I'm saying a lot. in my industry, when I used to grow up, there were people that were salespeople that you wanted them to work for you because they just knew everyone. They had that Rolodex in their head, and they would just know exactly who to call to sell whatever. That's Sam Sorenson.
There we go. Well, we'll have to explain what a Rolodex is.
Yes, I'm sorry. Did I just date myself?
Whoa. Hold back on that one.
But
I don't know what we're
people know
gonna
what I say. But Sam, that's you. You've been in this business forever. If somebody is interested in doing something like this, working with Sam, he's the guy to call because you know exactly, even if it's not the right fit for you, you know who to tell them to go to.
Well, I mean, you do that. You do that in our industry. Sometimes I don't have a product, or I'm not going to say, call this guy. He has what you need. But, I have to, my job is to forward the action of your business. And, you have to match. In industrial real estate, it's an interesting dynamic with industrial real estate because the building itself is an integral part of the business. Now, an office building, I can be in this office, I can be that office. I open the door, there's a receptionist area, and everything's kind of the same, so to speak. But in industrial building, you have to ceiling height, power, loading, outside storage, zoning. There's all these different things that really impact the way a business can operate within that facility. And once I know what the business is doing, I can match that. But sometimes I have to have the right zoning. Sometimes you can't operate. All of a sudden you have, 20 buildings, but only 2 of them have the right zoning. Or maybe I have 20 buildings, but only 2 or 3 have the right power. I need, most buildings have maybe 600 amps, and you need 3,000. Well, we only have 2. So there you go. But we can cut our time short. We don't have to waste our time looking at other properties. And, other things, ceiling, it's a funny thing, but ceiling height is a critical part of industrial real estate.
Sure.
It's how you deal with inventory. It's how you deal with your equipment.
You got to get those cranes in there or whatever they're doing.
Overhead cranes. We talked about that before. But so all those pieces have to fit. And you get the right building for the right client, and it has the attributes they need. And then as far as my job is concerned, I don't really have to push the building. We found it. It fits. It's like a puzzle piece. We found the puzzle piece for your business. It's going to make your business go forward. And once we find that, and we put them in there, my clients have really been very, very successful, and we buy them. Sometimes we buy them very, right, so to speak. But we match the building to the client's needs. Not necessarily, it could be other things. It's a pretty building with, a nice green lawn and something in front of it.
And I bet you that's also why, because of the way that you work, is that these deals are going to go faster and faster because that's the reason why. And you're dealing with people that know what they want.
Exactly.
Right? And they know what they need, and it's like, let's get it done.
Well, it's interesting when we do show real estate, we'll show like maybe 5 or 6, and I always tell them it's an order. It's a process of elimination. This one I don't like because of this. This one I don't like because of this. We're going to narrow it down and narrow your scope. But once we find the right building, it really moves quite quickly after that because they can see this building is going to take my business to this level, and I'm making a substantial investment here. $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 million. So it's got to be the right facility. It has to check all the boxes.
What's the most challenging then? Is finding the right place?
Right now,
especially.
Right now, it's somebody just finding the right place. I'm working with a couple of small developers right now. We see a huge hole in the market in a couple of areas, and we are working to fill that right at this minute with property that we hope can get on the market within the next year. But that's just the way it is. I have to match that property, to what he needs. And I have, buildings I list, I have to like the building. If I'm listing a building I don't really like or believe in, it doesn't work. So, I love certain buildings, as obviously the manufacturing
facilities. Talk about
facilities.
getting into your job.
But no, there's some buildings I just, I list and I can see the potential in it. I know how it works. I know how it's going to work for them. And another guy will call me and he'll say, what about that building? I say, no, it's not for you. It's not going to work for you. We got to go in this direction.
But your name is on it.
My name is on it, but yeah, but I might take them someplace else because that building is not going to work for them.
But that's what I'm saying. You're putting you put yourself into this.
Yeah, no, you got to, you've got to understand your client. You've got to understand what he needs.
Right.
If not, because he's going to invest in time with attorney's fees, with inspection fees, going to a bank, paying for an appraisal, blah, 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 whatever. And so you can't, the time at that point is of the essence. You really have to manage his time, your time. It has to be a smooth transaction. And the more you meet his needs, and we're down to that point where I've met all of his needs, we've checked all the boxes, then we can go forward. At that point, we're both confident to go forward with the bank, get everybody involved, write up contracts, and move forward. Everybody's confident to move forward with that property. And that's where you want to be. That's kind of the fun of it. It's a puzzle piece.
Sam is definitely the guy to call. Sam is Sorenson and Black. The number to call, 602-369-4059. Real quickly, because we have less than a minute. What would your advice be to somebody some of these young brokers that might want to, just starting out, might want to do what you do?
Well, if you're a young man or young woman want to start out, don't do what I do. Don't start a company just off the cuff one day because you feel like it. No, I mean a lot of them try and go to work for a brokerage company, obviously. But if that's not the case, find a property management company, a commercial property management company. Start there. It's not going to be obviously maybe sometimes the same type of money you could make right off the bat with a large brokerage firm, but you'll learn the market. You'll learn very quickly. You'll learn where the buildings are. It takes time. I mean, to learn our market takes years to learn where all the pieces fit. So do that. Start there, and you can get there.
I'll tell you something, Sam. I love listening to you talk because you really know your stuff. Well, you've been doing this for a long time.
Oh, I guess so.
And a long time, and it has paid off, and it shows.
Oh, thank you.
And the website is Sorenson and Black. The number to call them is area code 602-369-4059. And again, tell people that are listening out of state what you might want to have them do.
Well, give me a call if you're looking for a manufacturing facility especially. But if you're looking for industrial real estate in Phoenix, give me a call, and I promise that we'll dig up the property for you. There's not a problem.
The number to call is 602-369-4059. It is SorensonandBlack.com.